Welcome to Tarot TV. This is the place for entrepreneurs to really share their stories and hear from other entrepreneurs. Today, I am with Amanda Kern, who is the founder and CEO of Emerald Creative Content. Thank you, Amanda, for being here with us today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Terry.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we go ahead and kind of dive into a little bit more about you, your story, whatever else, can you just explain a little bit to us what does Emerald Creative Content do for its clients?
Yeah, Emerald Creative Content is a special kind of digital marketing agency that specializes in search engine optimization. So we create a lot of content strategies for websites and social media, and our focus is not just making it look nice, we also want to make it discoverable.
Absolutely. So, SEO content writing, where has life led you to get to the point that you are today founding your own business? Where did you kind of start, and then how did this journey come about to being your own business owner in this work that you do?
Totally unconventional, wacky story with lots of twists and turns. So, as you know, Terry, we used to work together at a middle school together where I was a middle school English teacher. And so that was the first life that I lived as a professional was as an English teacher. And then after COVID, school and education looked really different, and I could just tell it was time for me to find something different to do. And so I was just Googling one day what to do with an English degree. And I came across, first, I came across ghostwriting. And so I did some ghostwriting for romance novels, very steamy.
Ooh,
And that was really fun, but it definitely didn't pay very well. And so that I knew that there had to be something more out there. And then I discovered copywriting, and I really fell in love with copywriting because I worked with small business owners, and their small business owners are a different breed of people.
hmm
Okay, so but small business owners tend to be a little bit rebellious because they want to work for themselves for a reason. A lot of times they're pursuing financial freedom. They're just like looking to do something different. And a lot of times they're also looking to create generational wealth or escape like generational financial trauma and things like that. And so I just clicked with business owners really well because I could relate to them on all of those levels. And I started getting these SEO briefs from the business owners that said, well, when you're writing the copy, we want you to use these keywords and we want you to write it in this certain way and include, organize it this way. And I would get these very detailed briefs and I was like, this is crazy. Like, why? What's going on here? So I fell down a rabbit hole, and I was really lucky to have a mentor who taught me all the ways of SEO and copywriting. And so once I learned that skill set and I added that on to my copywriting services, that's how Emerald was born. And so now, instead of having to have an SEO agency, a copywriter, another marketing agency, we're all in one. We do it all. And that's what makes us so special. And that's what led me to this place now.
That's awesome. That's really excited to see like how you've grown and kind of added on to those other pieces to really be like a one-stop shop for the small business owners that you love. Now, let's put on the training wheels because not every single business owner is savvy whenever it comes to this idea of SEO. Can you kind of back it up a little bit and explain what is SEO? What is kind of the back end of what this looks like, and why is it so important for business owners to pay attention to?
Yeah, SEO stands for search engine optimization. And essentially, it's the process of making your business discoverable through any search engine. SEO, a lot of people think of Google because most people perform their searches on Google. But SEO works for any algorithm. So that could be Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Pinterest, any place where there's an algorithm that's deciding how to rank content and what content to give you, you can optimize content on that algorithm. And the reason it's important for business owners is number one, most people now perform searches before they decide to make a purchase. Most consumers want to feel educated, and they want to make sure that they don't have buyer's regret, right? So there's all these objections that someone might have before they make a purchase. And so more than ever, people are researching their options before they decide to purchase a service or a product. And so within that process, if you appear as a solution to either a person who's problem oriented and maybe they're searching a problem that you can solve, or someone who's solution oriented and they're just searching for that product or service, if your business can appear during that research process, then you have a much bigger chance of being the solution that they decide to go with. And also, your competitors are doing it. More than 65% of small businesses, at least, are investing in SEO. And every year, the amount grows. So, if SEO is not something you're paying attention to yet, it's something you should start thinking about because your competitors are getting further ahead. And more so, if you are deciding to do paid ads, which a lot of business owners do, if you have a strong SEO foundation, you're going to spend less and get more with paid ads than you would if you have a poor SEO foundation on your website.
Now, why is that? So I think that's like one of those pieces that like is really missing for a lot of entrepreneurs of like, I'll just put out a Facebook ad, it'll pop up on people, they'll click on my page and money will be rolling in. So why is that connection between strong SEO and ads? What is the missing piece there, misconception that business owners have?
Well, number one, if people are discovering you organically and you can generate your own organic traffic to your website or to your social media just because you've got good content that people want to look at, you don't have to spend as much on ads. You can reduce your ad spend because you're generating eyes on your business organically. And then number two, the people that are discovering you through ads, Google's main priority is to provide people with a positive user experience. And I imagine that that's the same for any other algorithm like TikTok or Instagram. And if you have poor SEO foundations, that probably means a few things. Number one, it probably means your user experience is maybe frustrating. It could mean that your content isn't very in depth and it doesn't actually solve user problems. And so if you are paying for ads, you're going to end up paying more just because users aren't getting as much out of the experience and it's riskier for whatever that algorithm is to offer your business as a solution. And so if there are other better options, you're just going to have to pay more to outrank them because their user experience is better, the content is better, the solution they're providing is better. Whereas if you have a good, strong SEO foundation, someone has already thought of those things for you. An SEO strategist is thinking about user experience. They're thinking about how to make your content more comprehensive and to solve user problems. And so you just won't have to bid as high for those keywords if you already have that really strong foundation going. So that's the short answer.
Okay. Yeah, it's really cool. So, whenever it comes to the idea of SEO and what you do, people think right away that it's going to be blog post. Is it beyond that? What does this look like for people to really have strong SEO? Is it just about having the right articles, the topics, the headliners? What specific pieces do you really pay attention to whenever it comes to building out that strong SEO for your clients?
We kind of think about SEO, this is my teacher brain.
Mhm.
I go back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which for anyone who fell asleep in that day of psychology class, that's essentially a theory about how you need to have your most basic needs met first before you can reach your higher potential as a human being.
Hmm.
So you need food, water, shelter. And then once you have those things, you can start thinking about, okay, now I can like learn things and I can contribute to society and I can grow as a person. I sort of think of websites in the same way.
Huh.
So the at the most base layer, you have your technical SEO. That's really where you should start with your SEO strategy, is making sure that there are things on your website that aren't broken that would prevent you from providing a good user experience and helping your content rank. Because if you've got broken links, if things are loading slowly, that's going to frustrate people and they're not going to want to stay and engage on your website. So the first component of SEO that you want to think about is doing a technical audit just to make sure that the baseline function of your website isn't broken and you have a smooth user experience.
That you don't seem whack right off the bat with a user
Exactly.
clicking
Exactly.
on things that are busted. Okay, cool. What else?
Yeah. The next layer is like looking at how your content is organized on your website. So a lot of times when we onboard new clients who maybe DIY'd their website, your business evolves, and as your business evolves, you want to evolve your website with it. But sometimes what happens is Frankenstein websites will form where you've got a navigation bar that's so cluttered and you don't know where to go to find things, or like, I have no idea what I'm looking at here. The call to action isn't super clear. One of the things we think about is just the user journey on the website. Okay, so once I get here by clicking on the blog post or the landing page or whatever, is it clear to me what I am supposed to do or where I should go? So the next layer after technical SEO is just like the organization of content, the user experience. Is your navigation cluttered, or is it clear what you want people to do?
Hmm.
The third layer is where we start getting more into content. And so when we have a client that already has a website, we'll do a copy audit and we will look at the homepage copy, landing page copy, about page copy. And we want to make sure that number one, there's a clear brand voice, because there's nothing worse than going to a website and being like, oh my God, this is just AI. Like, I don't even understand what I'm reading. What is this brand? Who wrote this?
Mhm.
You immediately lose trust with people when they don't feel like, number one, a human being wrote your copy. And then number two, like a lot of times AI is very vague. And so something that you want to make sure is really coming through before you invest in SEO is that people understand what your unique selling proposition is. They understand the value that your product or service provides, and everything is very clear. Like, I should be able to read the copy and within 3 seconds understand who you're doing this for, what it is, and like why I should buy it. So that's the third layer after the user experience journey, is just like, does your copy, is it giving? Is it giving life to your brand? And then the last part is the actual like building of new pages and new content. And so that's where blogging comes in. And the reason that you want to build new pages and publish blogs is because the more keywords that you can rank for in your niche, the more opportunities Google has to serve you in what's called the search engine results page, or the SERP. And then people have more opportunities to click and come to you and find your website. So those are really the four like layers of SEO that we think about. And then, of course, there's backlink building, which is a huge component of SEO. And a backlink is just where another website has a link on their website that goes to your website so they can send you traffic. And there, it's sort of like a popularity contest where the more backlinks that you have across the internet, the more Google sees you as a reputable source, because it's like, oh, well, that website over there says that your content is good, so it must be good. So it's sort of like getting little endorsements across the internet. And the more of those little endorsements you can get, the more trustworthy you seem.
Okay, so you are not shaken by the fear of AI coming and taking over with SEO content writing. I think that you laid out really well there of, why the voice isn't there.
Mhm.
Um, I think more and more people want to get back to the authentic. Are you agreeing with that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I would say that more than ever, when business owners come to us, they're saying it's really important that it sounds like us. And I think that this plague of AI generated content, popping up on our LinkedIn and popping up on, on different websites, it's just reminding us of how lovely it is to have authentic human connection with other people. It's a very alienating time where we're all separated by technology that's designed to bring us together, but somehow makes us feel more alienated from one another. And people are also very just suspicious of AI and very suspicious of technology. And so if you can create a brand voice and you can publish copy that like moves somebody in a way that only another person knows how to move them and really speaks to somebody, you'll leave a lasting impression on them. So people are absolutely looking for opportunities for authentic connection, and your copy is a great place to make that happen.
Awesome. Awesome. That makes complete sense that, we need to put voice back into things. We all know the crazy generic things that Chat GTP can go ahead and shoot out for us on a day-to-day basis. So it's really cool that you are really bringing it back to the foundation with it. Now, as you were speaking, talking about like the whole layer process of how it is, which I love that all the the teacher tones and everything else. We'll get back to that in 2 seconds. You speak of a lot of jargon of, this is the back end, this is how this works, this is the term used for how you actually rank. As a business owner, that might be a little bit more in the blank whenever it comes to knowing the jargon, knowing how things work.
Mhm.
How important do you think it is for business owners to learn all of that back end themselves, learn the jargon, learn how this does it themselves to maybe be a little bit more in the sand, or work with a company like yours that has the expertise? How much do you want the business owners to have the know-how, the knowledge, or do you think it's not important at all if they're working with a company like yours that really has them in good hands?
That's a really important question. And I would say the more you can educate yourself as a business owner, the better. And the reason is there's a really unfortunate part about my industry, and that is that it's full of charlatans. There are a lot of people who claim to be SEO experts
Mm,
who, in reality, have very little knowledge as to what the best practices are, or they've been in the industry for too long and they reached a point where they got complacent and they stopped learning about what the changes are. And this is not an industry where you can do that. Sort of like medicine or education or really any industry, you have to constantly learn. You have to constantly be keeping up with what are the changes that are happening. Google updates its algorithm over 500 individual times per year. That's multiple times a day some days. And so if you're not staying up to date on that algorithm, you're going to fall behind really quickly. And unfortunately, a lot of digital marketing agencies are kind of like Renaissance men in that they want to be good at everything. They're a jack of all trades, but they're a master of none. And
mhm.
so the more a business owner can understand what are the SEO best practices, like what are the red flags I should look for, what are the green flags I should look for, the more you're going to be able to trust when you do pass off that responsibility to an agency that you are in good hands. So I think business owners should spend a few hours every month. You don't have to spend a lot of time. Just like, find good creators. I recommend Neil Patel if you're looking for a good SEO creator that's going to keep you up to speed on what the best practices are. Get on his email list because he sends these really bite-sized little emails every week,
Mm.
takes you to a blog post that educates you, and so you can stay up to date that way. Go to marketing workshops, watch a few YouTube videos from trusted creators, but do something so that when you hire an agency, you can feel confident that you are investing your money in good hands because otherwise who knows who knows what you're going to pay for and get in exchange. So um, be educated.
Be educated. I think that that's such a good piece of advice, not just for this topic of like SEO content writing and for your website, but also how does this translate into the other pieces of your business for the marketing, for social media, for your customer service. I think just being in the know and always educating yourself is such a key point to bring home. And speaking of education, you were a middle school teacher, as we mentioned in the beginning. How do you think that being a middle school teacher in your past has really helped your success or your demise for what you're doing now? How do you think that that's kind of lend an upper hand for the work that you do with your clients today?
Teachers can do anything. Like if you've been in the classroom, then you know that a teacher isn't just a teacher. A teacher is 100 other things all day, every day. Teachers can multitask like nobody will ever understand, right? We're watching, the kids that we know could derail my entire day out of the corner of one eye while like teaching a lesson and trying to make sure that, the kids that are at risk of failing are paying attention out of the other eye. So I think that one of the best skills that translated from being an educator for 9 years to being an agency owner is that the way that adults learn and engage and build relationships is not much different at all from the way in which children do all of those same things. So, like when we create onboarding experiences for our clients, when we're thinking about managing relationships with our clients, all of those same skills as a teacher where you differentiate, which for my non-teacher friends, that basically just means that each kid learns in a different way and they have different needs. And so you can't use cookie cutter lessons and expect all kids to be down with that. You have to think about all of the different layers of needs that students have. And so we take that same approach with our clients. All these businesses that we work on are all at different phases, and the owners of the businesses are all at different levels of understanding when it comes to marketing or when it comes to just being a business owner in general. And so we really try to create custom, personal, bespoke experiences for all of the clients that we work with so that they don't feel like they're just getting this cookie cutter experience because it wouldn't work. Frankly, SEO has to be super tailored to every single situation. And so just understanding that differentiation is a need that all humans, all little humans have, and then realizing adults are the same way and their businesses are kind of the same way. I think that that was one of the biggest like advantages that I had of being a teacher and becoming an agency owner.
I love that. And I think that I get that teachers can do it all thing. We were just in the trenches during education. I get asked that all the time because I work at home with my 3-year-old and they're like, I don't know how you do that. And I'm like, I don't know any other work day where I'm not interrupted by kids all the time.
Right.
So it's really cool to hear like those skills be translated into what you're doing now, especially for those fellow educators that maybe want to embark in their own business someday, and jumping into the trenches with the rest of us, which is pretty exciting. Now, whenever it comes to your team, because you've been a beast whenever it comes to taking your own business, being everywhere, and now starting to grow your own team, what has that process looked like for you, and how has that experience been of taking this business and this idea and starting to really make it its own monster?
I think a lot about leaders in the schools that I worked for that I admired. And I try to think about, when I was having the worst day as a teacher, which anyone who's been in education knows we've all been there, where literally everything goes wrong all day long. And I try to think about, who did I go to when I was having those days and what made me keep coming back and why did I stay?
Mm.
And I think about the qualities in those leaders and the qualities, those qualities are qualities that I try to evoke as a leader in my organization so that, now that I'm on the other side of things, and I'm seeing someone else have a day where everything's going wrong for them. I try to think about how to be supportive of them and emulate some of the leadership qualities that I really admired in principals who I have no idea how, but somehow didn't collapse under the pressure of it all because it was, for me, I was having a bad day in my classroom. They're dealing with a whole team of teachers who maybe all of us are having that bad day and we're all coming to the leader with all of our problems. And so as I'm growing my team, I think about those leaders and try to emulate those qualities. And I think that if you are a good leader and you have a good heart and you lead with your heart, then you'll attract people who want to do a good job for you and you'll attract the best talent in your industry. Now, that being said, you also have to make your workplace an attractive place to work. You have to compensate them competitively. You have to give them good benefits, and you have to create a culture that they don't dread coming into every single day. And so, I try to make Emerald fun. I try to compensate my people competitively. I try to think about what are some fun little benefits I can give, even if I can't give the same benefits as like a large agency. How can I give fun benefits that are still attractive, so that I can still attract top talent? And you just have to think like a human. You have to put yourself in the other person's shoes. I used to joke that some of the admin in some of the schools I worked at lived in this ivory tower where they were just so disconnected from what the people were experiencing in the trenches. And I have tried to keep myself as entrenched side by side with the people on my team as I can so that when they come to me with problems, it's no shocking surprise that they're dealing with these things because I've been side by side with them experiencing it as well. So that's really where my mind is when I think about growing my team is how can I be a leader that people trust? How can I make myself the most trustworthy leader that people feel like they can come to when they're having problems? And how can I keep the culture at Emerald a place that's fun, that people look forward to working at every day? Because once you lose those things, you lose your good people.
Love that. And it's a good thing you were a middle school teacher translating these skills to your business because if you're elementary school, they might like all have sticker charts and different like competitive natures to it. But I think that that's great that you kind of like took that past experience and really molded that to how do I want to build my company, not just survival mode or figuring out from there, but what are the missions and the values that we want to stand by, which is really beautiful. And as we start to close up, tell me a little bit more. If somebody is saying this makes sense, I have been educated on SEO and I know that I need this. Who's the right client to work for with you? And to make this come to life, and what are you looking for out of the clients that come your way?
Our dream clients are small to mid-sized businesses. We love working with solopreneurs. We love working with marketing teams. And we are looking for clients who are trying to become more discoverable. So maybe you've invested a lot in a website and it's just crickets and no one's coming to your website. And you're like, I don't understand. I spent 5, 6 figures on this website and nothing's happening. You're our dream client. We want to help you to make the most out of that huge investment. And we want you to reach out to us. Go to our website, apply to be a client, or book a one-on-one with me to learn more. And we offer a free audit. So if you're just like, I don't know if SEO is right for me, but it sounds interesting, we would love to do a free audit for you so that we can help you to make that decision.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being here today, for educating all of us on the world of SEO, and knowing the importance of why we need to pay attention to it, and at what point is it a time to go ahead and get the help that we need. I really appreciate it, Amanda Kern from Emerald Creative Content. If you're looking to get a hold of Amanda, all of her contact information is going to be below. And thank you so much for just being here and lending another helping hand to other entrepreneurs.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Terry. This was fun.